All right. So while we are on this journey to guiding our minds, like you said, it's not our work to do, but we'll just what are the things that we should be doing? Because of course we don't have control over. If we had the power to change certain things, then we'll probably want to put a lot of things in place. So while we're living our daily lives, what are these things that we should do that should at least keep us on the right path?
There's only one thing to do that I know. Not many things, just one thing. Just one thing. All right. So it's a circle like this. It's not like a long journey that never ends. I mean, life is a circle. Okay. So one half of the circle, you do your part. The other part you cannot do. You do your part and then trust nature, trust the universe, trust source, trust God to do its part. And then that circle is complete. You are a new person, do your own part, and then trust nature to do its part. That's how it goes. And every time that that dot that represents you like a radar is glowing brighter and brighter. Because in doing your part and nature doing its part, you are now a better person, shining brighter. And then it will glow brighter and brighter. And from that dull you becomes a brighter and brighter you until it becomes the pure you. So the only part that you have to do, which is your part, is to practice principle. And then these other ones that you are trying to understand will just fall in place. And then when they fall in place, it will not make sense. Okay, this is what you want to refer to. There is nothing else to do. Nothing else is in your power. The only thing within your power is practice principle. So what is principle to practice?
Exactly.
I know. We'll talk about it. I already summarized what principle is. So make do with that for now. And then later on, once we are done with all of this laying of the foundation, we'll now begin to lay the bricks level by level, talking about principle. So principle is basically do this to achieve this, do this to achieve this, do this to achieve this. That's all. So we'll just discuss them one by one. Again, it's just in breaking them down that you're actually saying do this to achieve this. Ultimately, each principle is just a tiny part of a whole. And the whole principle is wrapped around one whole. So even if you do not come back here to say principle 1, principle 2, principle 3, or how does this universal law affect this, or how do we take this principle, apply it in our business to begin to make profit, all right? Even if you do not have all of those details, the summary is of all principle, all books, all prophets combined is whatsoever ye will that men should do for you, go and do same unto men. I already explained that in previous time.
Yes, we did. Now, speaking of a certain area of this principle, whatever you would that man do to you, you do unto him. If you mentioned, there's this example you mentioned yesterday. If we would want, we see something really beautiful and we feel like, oh man, I love this, and then we just take, we connect to that thing or whatever, that wish, Now I kind of like saw that from the financial perspective. How about the emotional perspective of it?
Yeah, it works the same way. If you sow emotion, you reap emotion. If you sow finance, you reap finance. You sow happiness, you reap happiness. If you sow, it's the same thing. I'm not sure what. Yes.
How do I sow it when I see something that I admire, or I see this very lovely couple? I'm like, oh wow, I love this couple. I'd love to have this kind of, and then how do you sow? or how do you connect to that beautiful thing that you see in them?
Yeah, you already did that when you said you love this couple and then you admire them and you are wishing them well. Oh, beautiful. May this last forever. Whatever you're enjoying now, I wish it lasts forever. Yeah, you already did.
And that's enough.
Okay. Do you think you can do more? If you think you can do more, then we can explore it further.
Because if it was that simple, I think a lot of us will be getting our wishful thoughts.
Yeah, but it's not just one wish that makes it happen.
Okay.
Yeah. So continue to wish. I mean, to release the same emotion every time you see couples that you like. Continue to release the same emotion because you have to be in that sympathy, that love state for it to make sense, for it to not make sense, for it to be effectual.
Okay.
So continue to do it. I mean, it works, huh? If you see a beautiful car, yeah, wow, I love this car. 2 years, 1 year, months down the line, you buy the car. It works. So again, is the mind right? Maybe that's another aspect that we need to work on. Is the mind ripe for the planting of that seed? So if you feel that it's not working, then we have to work on the soil.
The mind.
Yeah, the mind is the soil. So that whatever you plant there, so we have to work on the soil so that you're planting to germinate and bear fruit. And when they do bear fruit, they should bear good fruit and bountiful fruits. The mind is your soil. So a lot of work to do on the mind. But be rest assured that spiritual seeds do not die. They do not die. So even though you have planted it and it appears dead and it's not working, by the time you work on the mind, and the mind becomes fertile now, they are going to spring up and you're wondering, but this was what I wished 7 years ago. So it still came to pass. Yes. It just needed to come to pass. Spiritual seeds are not corruptible. They do not go corrupt. They do not go bad. They are still there. Just vitalize the soil and put some, manure, fertilizer, put rain, water it, and do everything you should do. You'll be surprised how much seed you have in there that you thought were already dead. They will all spring up.
In this case, a lot of people would assume, I'll just pray about it, and it will happen. I prayed about this stuff before, and actually did happen. So do we put this
prayer? Yes, go on.
So do we put this together, the mind and the prayer together?
Prayer. What is prayer?
Communication with God.
What do you mean pray? No. We already mentioned how to communicate with we already mentioned how to communicate with God. Does it mean that people who don't pray, they don't communicate with God?
Well, that's like, yes, they do. But that's
so how do
more
they
like, well, the fact that I do not kneel down to pray doesn't mean, I can't just be walking on the road and actually be communicating with God.
How do you
it's
communicate?
It's a mind thing. It's a mind thing.
Yeah. So mind is the place of communication. All right. So even in thoughts, even while you are not speaking it, even in thoughts, you are communicating because you don't really wait for your mind for your mouth to move before you. Anyway, I mean that's subjective. That's not an area I really want to go into. Or at least one fundamental thing that everyone would agree, irrespective of what background we are coming from in terms of our relationship and place with prayer, is the mind is the key. The mind is the real thing. All right. So God I find myself saying God more for now. The universe will speak to you without necessarily speaking in human voice or anything, and just impress it on your mind. That is the closest thing about you to it. So that's the challenge. Whatever is, hey, this is for you. It's going to put it in your mind, and then your mind will find a way to link it to your material. So the mind is the root. All right. So that is why it was said that once you have concluded it in your mind, even without saying it, once it's already impressed, it stays on your mind long enough for you to say yes, then it's already written for you as you have done it. And you're wondering, when did I do it? I didn't do it. But your mind has already done it. I mean, look at it in your mind, where you conspired. In the world, we call it conspiracy. So that's why when you're charging somebody for a crime, you say, first of all, he concluded in his mind to do it. That is, he conspired, and then he actually went ahead to do it. He conspired and did it. So 2 charges. All right. So it's similar even in divine law. See, once your mind has concluded on your behalf, you may say, you didn't do it, it was your mind, right? You should be in control of your mind. So once your mind has seen, like the holy books, let's not go into it. So once your mind has concluded that, you know what, I like that, I'm going ahead to steal that, and then I'm going to do this, and then I will do this, I will escape like this, I will escape like this. All right? And then as you're about to go ahead to steal, something happens and you are not able to perfect, to complete the act of stealing. And then you are going to see that it's recorded for you as you have stolen that. When did you steal it? You did not steal it. Because in your mind, you have already perfected it and it's already. So your mind is what the spirit sees.